So I skydive. When I jump, I don't get excited. I actually have peace when I'm free falling. And when the parachute opens, it's quiet. I can fly the parachute up until I land. And it gives me a serenity, because when you're skydiving, you cannot think about anything else but what you're doing and be in that moment. Hi, I'm Minister Sajjan. I'm from Vancouver, British Columbia, and have the privilege of being the Minister of International Development and the Minister responsible for the Pacific Economic Development Agency. I have a lot of actually really nice memories. You know, we didn't have a lot, but I always felt that we had everything we needed for a happy family. I just remember a lot of happy times being with my grandfather in the fields, looking after the animals, looking after the small farm that we had. We didn't have running water. We didn't have washrooms in the house. I remember my mom applying wet mud on the floors every week just to make sure that to fill all those cracks. One of the cool memories I have is when you sleep, is sleeping under the stars almost every night. First of all, coming to Canada it's hard to describe. It's even greater than winning the lottery. Not many people had the opportunity to do so. Oh my God, we're going, the first time being on an airplane, getting locked in the washroom. I think on our layover in Japan, because I didn't know how to work the knobs, because we never had doorknobs before. We didn't have a lot. My parents had to work hard. We picked berries when we were small. Didn't realize how difficult it was for my parents at that time. When it comes to international development, I've seen the tremendous work that they do around the world. I was that kid in a small little village, and my sister. If somebody was to look at, if we were still there, what would they see in us? Would they feel sorry for us? Would they see potential in us? Regardless of what a child's circumstances might live in, is don't look at that, is look at the potential that they might have. And if we were able to allow the children to find their potential, imagine the accomplishments that they can have for the world. Obviously, right now, we're dealing with a bunch of crises, and dealing with a pandemic internationally is one of my top priorities. When it comes to how do we have a greater impact on women and girls with the programs that we have, that's going to be extremely important. But we also cannot forget that we are also in a climate crisis, and we have to also put all this into the work that we need to do. So all that is going to continue. Some of the policies that I think that are transformative for women and girls around the world one is education. The second piece that has to go part and parcel is the health aspect that needs to go with it, up right when they're for young girls, because without the health aspect, you're not going to get the education. When we give them the education, it can have a significant impact for the nations down the road. So my grandma passed away when she gave birth to my mom's youngest sister. So my mom, she was 10 years old. My mom had to help raise her brother and sister. When we talk about our health policies and what we're trying to do for women and girls around the world, I imagine what my mom went through, young girls, what they go through. A lot of them pull out of school just out of not being able to look after themselves, or their families pull them out. When you educate a girl, you educate the entire family, because the girls that get the education, they value that. And then they make sure that their children are going to get that education as well. My mom, in terms of, she couldn't read or write, but imagine the potential she had if she was educated. But even without education, I can assure you, my mom had a very strong business sense. Tackling racism, if we don't tackle it here, the work that we do around the world has less of an impact. People that we try to help, they're going to look at how we look after our own citizens, how we treat others. If we don't set the example for ourselves, how can we have that greater impact and tell them why it's important to support women and girls education when it comes to inclusivity, our human rights aspect of things. The pandemic has basically unveiled the inequities that we have in all societies, including ours. And we need to be mindful of that, and we are. We need to have around the world the haves to share with the have-nots, right? And making sure that we have policies in place that everybody gets lifted. And because that is what's going to create better economic opportunities for those countries.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Yes.
Canucks or Senators?
Oh, listen, Canucks. Did you watch the game last night?
Running or biking?
Running.
Skiing or skating?
Skiing.
Hot climates or cold climates?
Hot climates. Unless you're skiing.